let's jump right in. You're listening to Black Mass with me, Theodore Bonaparte. I'm the Theodore Bonaparte part of the Theodore Bonaparte title. With me again is Ed.
Yo.
Our beautiful skeptic over there.
Not sure what about.
Today, we are going to discuss aliens.
Okay.
As told by... 1 second. Those of you who have listened to our David Bowie episode, all one of you, will be savvy to some of this stuff, because Bowie sings about a lot of this kind of stuff. Right. So we begin. What do you know about it? Are you a believer in aliens?
Right, okay. I wouldn't say I'm a believer as such, but I can get behind the ideas more than I can alien cats. Okay.
ABCs.
Yeah.
For the previous episode.
Okay, yeah. So ghosts, I'm not. Okay, as you know, I'm not that sure of. Aliens, I can get behind it a bit more. I'll still take some convincing. So if you could do that,
I guarantee that by the end of this episode, you will be convinced that there are 12 species of aliens in contact with the human race at this very moment in time.
You gotta be careful. It's a fine line before you actually, you could get me to believe, or you could in fact push me the other way, where I don't believe at all.
I don't believe that is going to happen.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see at the end.
So it starts with our beautiful Earth.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of years ago.
Yep.
Or 2,000 years ago for the Christians. Or 5,000 years. Whatever, however long they think that the Earth was.
Yeah.
Before we was even here, it begins with the Draconians.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Who are they?
The Draconians, if you ever see a conspiracy theorist or listen to one and they think that Obama or the royal family are reptilians that control... I think reptilian might be a euphemism for Jew, but whenever they say that the people in power are secret reptiles that are controlling the world, that is what a Draconian is.
They please don't actually mean reptilian.
Yes, an actual reptile. Now, these Draconians began on Earth.
Fine line, I said fine line. Okay.
And they seeded us here.
Right, okay.
Right? Because Earth is a perfect farm for humans.
Yeah.
Okay? And then what happened was the Draconians interbred with the humans that they seeded and made other Draconians.
Yeah.
And this is where we get, okay. The root races, as told by Madame Blavatsky, which, for a caveat, is the main reason Hitler was obsessed with the Aryan race. Okay? So it started with the Polarian race. Okay. They were ethereal, aka spirit beings, and they reproduced by dividing like amoebas. That's how we started.
Awesome.
Then, the Hyperborean race was born from those. They lived in Hyperborea, what is now Scandinavia, Northern Asia, Northern Canada, Greenland, Iceland. They had golden yellow skin. The climate was tropical, as Earth had not yet developed an axial tilt.
It's a fantasy novel.
It is quote-unquote fiction, because they weren't allowed this sort of belief back in the late 1800s. So they released books as fiction, quote-unquote. And they reproduced by budding, like plants. That's how we were seeded, right?
Okay.
Then the Lemurian race came. They lived in Lemuria, existed in the Indian Ocean, including Australia, New Guinea, and Madagascar. They were destroyed by a volcano and gradually sank. They were taller and bigger built than we are now. That's when the reptiles bred with us. Because reptiles are up to 10 feet tall.
Okay, so Obama's
humanoid
up
beings.
to 10 foot tall, yeah?
No, the original reptilians.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that
up. Feel free to ask as many questions as you want.
Thank you.
In case I get stuck in a corner. They reproduced at first by laying eggs, and then when they bred with the reptilians, they began human reproduction. And as Lemuria sank, the Lemurians colonized Africa, South India, and the East Indies. And then we have the Atlanteans.
Okay.
They had Mongolian features, bronze skin, and they were the race of Atlantis.
They weren't just Mongolians.
No, they were Atlanteans. Before Atlantis was attacked by the floods, which we will get to very shortly.
Okay.
The races of Atlanteans were Romo Hal, the Tlavati, which was Cro-Magnon man, the Toltec, which is American Indians, or what ended up as American Indians, the Turanians, which ended up being the Turkish, the Semites, which were Jews, the Arcadians, which were the ancient Middle Eastern people, which would be Babylonians and all that stuff, and the Mongolians.
Okay, where are we?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Descendants of Atlanteans included Mongolians, Malaysians, and Native Americans. And now, this is when we get into Atlantis. Now, Atlanteans had many conveniences. A capital city. The city was called the City of the Golden Gates. It had 2 million inhabitants, aqueducts from a mountain lake. Vril powered their airships, capable of carrying 2 to 8 people. I'll get to Vril later.
Okay, thank you.
The first to develop an organized warfare, Vril-powered battleships carried 50 to 100 fighters, deployed poisonous gas, bombs, fired tipped arrows. They were sun worshippers. Some Toltecs began to worship black magic, which triggered the downfall of Atlantis. The people became selfish and materialistic due to black magic. The Turanians took over as the Toltecs began to emigrate to what is now America. And they continued to practice black magic, beginning to conjure and breed chimeras to use as sex slaves.
Right, okay, yep. Obviously.
And then wars began between the white and black magicians. I think that might be a euphemism.
I was going to say that.
The masters of the ancient wisdom warned the white magicians to flee Atlantis before the final cataclysm, and the final submergence was due to an earthquake in 9564 BC, allegedly. But what really happened was Noah built an ark because he was told by God that there was going to be a great flood.
Fuck's sake. Okay, right, yep.
Bear with me.
I'm with you.
In the Bible,
creatures
called the Nephilim came down, who were angels.
Okay.
Who were not supposed to come down.
Okay.
And they were 10 feet tall. They were from Mars.
Because
there's less gravity on Mars, hence they are taller and skinnier than us. They came down and saw to the sinking of Atlantis. And Atlantis shifted, moved to where Antarctica is now, and that's where it froze over.
Course it did.
Obviously. They said that Atlantis was the size of North Africa and Libya combined, which is the size of Atlantis. Antarctica, sorry.
So it's pretty big. And that just drifted.
It sunk into the earth and sunk into the sea and reappeared at Antarctica, frozen.
Yeah, I can see that happens.
Now, the group of Atlanteans who escaped Atlantis before it sank became the Aryan race.
Right.
They emerged from the Atlanteans. There are 9,000 Aryans that migrated out of Atlantis in 79,797 BC, and they were moon-coloured. White.
Okay.
Now, the sub-races of the Aryans, this is where Hitler gets it wrong.
Okay,
because
right.
The true sub-races of the Aryans are the Hindus, the Arabians, the Persians, the Celts, which is us.
Yep.
The Mycenaean Greeks, the Teutonics, which ended up being the Germans, and the Slavs. And then that's where we get to today. Now, Vril.
Okay, what is Vril? And why haven't I heard it before, and why isn't it here now?
You haven't heard it before because it is inside the Earth.
Like oil?
Sort of.
Okay.
It was discovered by Edward Bulwer Lytton in 1871, around the same time as Madame Blavatsky made up the... I mean, wrote down
the
root races.
Yep.
Now, Blavatsky's work that I just described to you,
yep.
and this work was taken into... These were the foundations of the Nazis.
Okay, right. Interesting.
Now, the novel, quote-unquote, of the Vril, a.k.a. The Coming Race, centers on a young, independent, unnamed, wealthy traveller, a.k.a. the narrator, who visits a friend, a mining engineer. They explore a natural chasm in a mine which has been exposed by an exploratory shaft. The narrator reaches the bottom of the chasm, not chasm, is it?
Yep.
Chasm safely, but the rope breaks and his friend is killed. The narrator finds his way into a subterranean world occupied by beings who seem to resemble angels.
What?
He befriends the first being he meets, who guides him around a city that is reminiscent of ancient Egyptian architecture. That's a whole nother story about aliens there.
Okay.
The explorer meets his host's wife, 2 sons and daughter, who learn to speak English by way of makeshift dictionary, during which the narrator unconsciously teaches them the language, because they speak telepathically.
Of course they do.
The hero discovers that these beings, who call themselves the Vrilyar, have great telepathic and other parapsychological abilities, such as being able to transmit information, get rid of pain, and put others to sleep. They can also change the weather.
So where was this, sorry?
Under the ground.
Do you know where?
No.
Okay.
Now, it was rumoured that the Vrilyar are the reptilians. The Draconians.
The Draconians, yeah.
Because in the Great Flood, the Nephilim came down, knowing that the Draconians wanted humans for food.
Those Nephi fellas, they're ones from Mars, yeah?
The ones from Mars, yes. Yep. They are the Watchers. They watch us, apparently.
Creepy.
And intervene when we're about to become wiped out by reptilian scum. They flooded the Jews. They flooded the Earth, and the reptilians fled underground, where they found Vril and harnessed its powers.
So just right. So on a timeline, then. So it's just the first time Vril's been discovered. Or you saying that because you said that Vril was used to power ships? Was this before this?
Yes, in Atlantis. This is when the reptilians were breeding with the humans before they got exiled into the Earth's crust. And that's where they stayed hidden. Now, at the birth of our consciousness was triggered the attention of the Greys.
What the hell?
Now,
the Greys.
The Greys are the aliens the short grey aliens with big heads and large black eyes.
Paul.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And they
convenient.
They're the sightings you see the most because they were sent down. They are from Orion.
Okay.
They were sent down because they detected our consciousness. And it's our consciousness that they feed off, and they feed off our fear, which is why they abduct us and scare the living daylight out of us, because they eat our fear.
Okay.
Now, the Greys are biological robots who are telepathically controlled by larger Greys known as the Tall Whites, who are the bosses
of Tall Whites?
Yes, the
There's
entire
definitely
operation.
some sort of racist backdrop here somewhere.
Not at all, not at all.
Okay, good.
Now, have you gotten all of that?
Yeah.
Apparently, the Greys crashed around 2000 BC, let's say that.
Okay.
They crashed into what was going to be Cairo and Giza, which is where... It's either that or the Draconians. I'm not quite sure. I think it might have been the Draconians now I think about it. They came from inside the Earth.
Lizard people in the Earth.
Using the Vril, they built the pyramids, which are still known to be impossible to build to this day.
Is this true?
They don't know how the pyramids were built.
It's just stone, isn't it?
Yes, but we do not harness the technology now to build the pyramids.
Okay.
The pyramids are the radius of the pyramids add up to pi.
Okay.
The pyramids are aligned to Orion in their shape.
Okay.
They are perfectly made. They got the rock from 50 miles away.
Haven't we got historic evidence that they're made by the Egyptians?
No.
Okay.
Watch a pyramid documentary. They go, and how was this done? And then they move on to something else.
Right, okay.
Now, the draconian surface.
Hang on a second, right. This is like a Transformers vibe. Right? It isn't in Transformers, i.e. aliens, then in fact they use pyramids. In fact there's some old alien artifact under a pyramid in there.
It did not come from nothing, my friend.
Okay, good.
The draconians came out of the Earth's crust and using their new power of the Vril,
they built a pyramid.
They helped humans build the
pyramids. For what reason is a pyramid helping them? Right, and just to bury a dead pharaoh.
No, it's not a tomb. It's not a tomb.
The dead pharaoh's in there.
It was used as a tomb when the pyramid stopped working.
Right. Okay.
Right. When the pyramid was built, the Nile flowed right beside the pyramid.
Yep.
Underneath the pyramid, there are chasms.
Yeah.
Not chasms.
Not chasms.
Where the river flowed.
Yeah.
Now, with this aqua technology...
Water.
Yes. The pyramid acted as a hydro generator for energy, which made the pyramid glow at night time. And this was proven by Nikola Tesla, who built his own version of it using a big coil, where basically the power of the tide washing in...
Yeah, tidal power.
Yeah.
I get that.
That's what the pyramid was for.
For what reason? Just to glow?
It was a draconian signal for their planetary ancestors to come and get them, because they were stuck underground and needed help taking over.
So they built the pyramids as an SOS beacon?
Yes.
Okay.
But then, as time went on, they didn't get
the help they wanted.
The help they wanted, and the Nile slowly and naturally moved. I think it's east.
Okay.
And that's when the pyramid stopped working, which is why we don't understand how or what it was for. And then they eventually buried a pharaoh in it, because it's not like any other tomb.
Well, I get that. I get the fact that the pyramids, it's like anything like Stonehenge. I get that. There's no way they can still to this day work out how it happened. And I'm pretty sure they couldn't do it back then. But that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard of for what the pyramids actually could be used for.
Is it so ridiculous that it is God's honest truth?
Again, I don't know. Who am I? Who am I to try and disprove this?
And who am I to prove it? So, let's agree to disagree and jump forward.
Okay, yeah.
To Nazi Germany.
What's it about a fine line?
Now, this is where it gets true. Bear with me. It gets true! I'm telling you. When I find it. So, the Nazis, their foundations of their occult practices were based on the Thule Society and the Vril Society.
Okay.
Now, the Thule Society went out and they searched for any magical artifact that could aid the Germans in their war against the world. Yeah, I sort of know
about that, yeah.
The Vril Society, their job was to go underground and find the Vril.
So what is Vril?
It's the chemical that makes all the universe possible. That's what I gather from
in Earth.
That's
Earth is basically the reason the
that's
universe
the energy
happens.
that the Vril are used to control the weather and speak telepathically and all that.
Okay.
All that perfectly true stuff.
Yep. Fact.
Now, it is rumoured that the Draconians themselves elected Hitler to be their alien human spokesperson, which is why he rose to such prominence as a crazy man.
Awesome.
Much like Donald Trump has now.
Yeah.
It's draconians
He's
behind
definitely
it.
draconian. Or the Russians.
Not
but either way.
Not necessarily draconian, but under the influence of draconian government.
Right, I get you. Nothing to do with Putin, anything like that, no?
Nope. So now, the reason that Hitler killed so many Jews is because apparently the Jews are responsible for interbreeding the draconian human hybrids, which eventually made us lose our telepathic powers that we had back in the time when we were from Atlantis. Bear with me.
So you're telling me that if it wasn't for the fucking Jews, I could be telepathic?
Yes.
I can understand why Hitler would be angry at that.
Exactly. He was dead serious about it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Now, the reason that this all fell apart was that at the same time he was speaking to the Draconians, he was also dabbling with the Greys. And you don't dabble with the Greys and the Draconians at the same time.
No. Dangerous line.
Now, he was working with the Greys for secret UFO technology, which the Nazis were working on secret aircraft technology. Flying disc technology.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And because of this, because he was allied to both the Draconians and the Greys, that's why he lost World War II, because he had no help from either of them in the end. Now, when we won World War II, the Americans and the Russians kidnapped Nazi scientists in an operation called Operation Paperclip.
But you're going to want to find out what sort of technology Germans have got.
Exactly. So they kidnapped Nazi scientists, took them back to the USA and Russia. Many of the scientists still believed in draconian law and made contact with them. And that's how America and Russia simultaneously got the technology and begun the space race for the 60s. They were the only countries that did, because they had the secret technology from the Nazis.
From the Nazi scientists who got it for the Draconians, yep.
And the Greys.
And the Greys, I get that, right. Sounding plausible. Totally.
Now, in 1947, I'm going to say,
yep,
a grey aircraft crashed in Roswell, New Mexico.
It's always American. Okay, yeah, okay.
They are the ones doing the dealings with the aliens.
Right.
They are not the most suspicious society on the planet.
No.
Now, this UFO crashed in the New Mexico desert, and
was he called Paul?
He may have been.
Okay.
There were 3 beings in the craft.
Yeah.
The only surviving one was found clutching a box, and he was found crying over the dead other 2 space aliens. Now, the army ran up to the alien, smashed him in the face with an assault rifle, took the box off of him, and kidnapped him and take him to Area 51.
Yep.
Now, this alien just so happened to just be a maintenance man on the ship. He didn't have any kind of idea what the mission to Earth was for. But the box that he had was a beacon for other ships. So we activated the beacon, bringing more Greys to the Earth, where President Roosevelt signed a treaty with the Greys, allowing them to take a few of us to experiment on, providing that they didn't do us any harm. And in return, we'd give them some of our technology and they'd give us some of theirs. And that's how we have Wi-Fi now.
Right, to get it straight, so anything we could have asked for, anything we could have asked for from advanced alien sort of, sorry, right, I'm trying to just get my head around this. We could have asked for anything.
It's very, very simple.
Okay, so you've got advanced aliens, okay? They can literally fly through space. And we asked for Wi-Fi.
Well, that's what we got. We also got the blueprints for gravitational propulsion units.
Okay, what's that mean?
Basically, it's how UFOs travel, and that's how they dart in any and every direction. What happens? This generator inside the craft projects gravity in any direction.
Yeah.
So basically, if you project gravity above you, you will fall in that direction.
Yeah.
And that's how they achieved space travel, because rocket technology won't get us very far.
No.
And apparently that's what they're working on at the moment.
Okay.
Because they need, in order to get to other planets, we need something other than rocket fuel.
Okay. Vril?
We don't know where the Vril is.
Right, okay. Okay. Sounds all more plausible than a big cat, so I'm still with you.
That's about all I have.
Okay.
Oh, there are other races. There are hold on. There are Archons.
Okay.
Who are microscopic species of the reptilians, and they go into very high-ranking Jew people.
Yep.
Enter their brains and control them into places of power.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. So can we summarise then what we've learned today?
Okay, here we go. There's a little bit more.
Okay.
So we've got the Pleiadians.
What the hell is a Pleiadian?
Did I not mention Pleiadians yet?
You've mentioned quite a lot of different species.
The Pleiadians
I've not heard this one.
Are from the Pleiades constellation.
No, I've not heard this
They
one.
are, as far as I know, the only good race of aliens who are on our side, and they're trying to keep us from not being eaten by the Draconians.
Okay.
And I think they are the Nephilim, the Pleiadians.
Right, okay, yeah.
And you've got the Draconians, then you've got the Greys and the Tall Whites, then you've got the Nordics, who look very much human with blonde hair.
Vikings,
very white.
basically, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
They're a race of aliens.
They're an aliens. So Vikings, no aliens, yeah?
Archons. There are praying mantis aliens who I've yet to get into yet.
Well, please do. They actually sound quite cool.
No, I've yet to understand the praying
Which
mantis.
I mean, yeah. Well, please. I want some research in that.
Okay, I'll save that for a future episode. And then the Aryans, who are apparently a race of aliens, which we are descended from.
Okay, I love the fact they've got two massive alien races there: the Vikings and the Aryans.
Yes.
Okay, so now can we sort of summarise what we've learned today?
Of course.
So get like a timeline. So what happened first?
Draconians, aka the dreaded race, came to Earth and helped to create mankind as a slave race.
Yep.
The Greys came to Earth and forced the Draconians to live inside the Earth in Shambhala, exiled there.
Until this...
Or, it's either... It says the Greys here, but I said the Nephilim, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so and that was until this scientist fella went down a chasm and found them.
Yes.
Again, but... So some long time but after this, they then these ones who are banished decided to show themselves to build a glowing pyramid.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Oh no, there's more.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Right. Da, 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 da. So the Atlanteans, once bred with the reptiles, I believe, were space white people, 9 feet tall, super psychic, and then over time the race was muddled when they had sex with the Jewish people, which is why white people are no longer psychic.
Okay. Yeah, it's just I don't get is the Atlantis thing. So what? So that just happened to sink, and then somehow drift underwater for God knows how. It's a big.
It sank because they were
it's the
playing
size
with
of
black
what? North
magic
Africa
and Libya combined.
Okay, that's big. And then happened just happened to then become Antarctica. Did you say?
Yes.
Yeah. totally plausible.
Also, this is true also, that the Nazis went to Antarctica in World War II and set up camp there. And Hitler sent the real Spear of Destiny to Antarctica, to the secret Nazi base where they were working on UFO disc technology given to them by the Greys. That's where they were working on it.
Okay, so where... Okay, again, so where's this all coming from? Okay, who's the source of the modern stuff? Do we know?
The internet.
Okay. Okay, do we come a bit no further than we don't know who actually put it on the internet?
Internetians.
Okay. What
People
species are they?
People in the know.
Right, okay. No, it all sounds totally plausible.
Exactly. Yeah, races landed here because of the spark of human consciousness that began with human beings who were created by the Draconians. So they either came to Earth in order to use us as an ally, or in the future use us as food.
Okay.
There are 11 known races, and only 2 of which are pro-human.
Okay.
In 1954, Eisenhower signed a treaty with the Greys to live... I think I said Roosevelt.
You did,
It
yeah.
was Eisenhower, sorry.
Okay.
Signed a treaty with the Greys who live under Area 51, allowing in a trade for technology for human experiment subjects, which is where we got Wi-Fi, a new space shuttle named the TR-23, which is a triangular craft that can reach light speed, and learning how to remove mass from objects.
Okay.
Apparently, Aldebarans and Venusians are the friendly races, not the Pleiadians.
Okay.
Okay, now this is where we get to the New World Order,
okay,
which is current. The New World Order is the shadow government, the government that governs the entire world, behind all of the other governments. And the New World Order wants to lose 6/7 of the human race in order to make the remaining amount easily controllable, and they're going to give the 6/7 to the alien races to eat and devour and farm or whatever.
Okay.
Here we go. And this is just a follow-up for Roswell. When the ship crashed in Roswell, all the aliens were dead but one they called EB-1. They took EB-1 to Los Alamos to a secret testing facility. He had a little box with him. He was a ship mechanic, so didn't know why they were there or what they were doing. He spoke in high tones.
Yeah, right, yeah.
The little box was a communication device from inside the ship. The scientists couldn't get inside the ship because it made them feel violently nauseous. One scientist described standing inside the ship as feeling like taking a rocket ship to hell.
So strong Wi-Fi signals.
Yes, EB-1 and the scientists send 5 messages back saying, everyone's dead, I'm the last one, come and get me, and the US government wants to do an exchange program, and they said yes in 10 years. Oh god. In 10 years, 12 astronauts were collected by the grey aliens and were to be dropped back in 10 years, but the aliens don't have clocks or perception of time, where the humans were placed inside eggs and fed white paste to survive the inside of the craft. They were gone for 13 years, 2 died, 1 of pneumonia and 1 of a fall, 2 stayed on the planet and 8 returned, the last dying in 2004, all dying from cancer.
Right, okay.
And apparently the planet's called Certo.
Okay. So 6 out of 7 people are going to be fed to aliens at some point.
Yes. In order to whittle us down into a population that's controllable.
Okay. Wean out the chaff.
Yes. Aliens breed with us in order to infiltrate our society to be controlled, or in order to attempt to open up our consciousness, which hasn't happened.
I mean, that's something funny. I've had no fit alien try breed on me yet.
Now, do you know the film Close Encounters?
Yes.
Steven Spielberg was told the true story of Roswell and was told to make Close Encounters of the Third Kind in a bid to begin to climatize us to the idea that aliens are real.
Okay.
Same with Prometheus,
E.T.
Avatar, E.T.
Yeah.
Yes, Alien.
Yeah.
Well, probably not
Probably
Alien.
not Alien. More Transformers.
To make us ready for the time when we are fed to the aliens.
Okay.
And that is about as much as I'm going to get into today.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely still not a believer.
Do you feel full of knowledge?
I do now. Actually, my head's a shed right now.
Do
all these different
you feel
alien
slightly
species.
Dumber with all of this knowledge?
Yes. I'm actually blown away. I didn't know about all this. This is actually It sounds like some sort of fantasy novel, like like all these different sort of old species and sort of their old territories. It's like something like that. Really like Game of Thrones. Not happy that Vikings are aliens. Quite like Vikings. I'm a bit annoyed at the Jews. I'm not gonna lie about it.
So was Hitler. But the thing is, though, is that even though a lot of this is absolute hodgepodge, those two books, The Coming Race and the Helena Blavatsky book, did spur on the Nazi regime.
Yeah, but they were batshit crazy.
I know.
Yeah, I don't feel any clearer. I think I'm just more confused about everything.
The rabbit hole is now open for you to climb down into.
Great.
And you can join me.
Yeah. But I'm interested. I must admit, I'm going to research the pyramid thing.
Watch The Pyramid Code on Netflix.
Okay.
That's about the pyramid being an energy generator.
Okay.
It doesn't have aliens in it.
Okay.
But it's about the theory that the pyramid was an energy generator with the Nile and
okay, I'll give it a go.
all of that stuff. It's quite convincing.
Brilliant. So is that story. So.
I'm a professional storyteller.
I'm not convinced I can get any more.
With my fragments of data I've picked up.
Any more convinced?
Well, that was nearly 40 minutes of bullshit. So we'll say bye-bye from me.
See you later.
Bye-bye from Ed. Good night.
Fucking tosh.